I was sentenced at the age of 16 to 77 years in prison, or 924 months. I was frightened going in as a 16-year-old child. I didn't know what to expect, but I did know that I was the youngest person at that prison, and I was one of the smallest, if not the smallest person at that prison. The first 11 years I was in and out of the hole or solitary confinement, and it was a means of taking a break from the madness of prison. The last time that I was in there, I had to take an anger management class. This lady's trying to teach this class, and the thing that got me though is that she was so sincere about trying to make a difference that had an impact on me. A couple weeks after graduating, my grandmother died, and then that's when I said, you know what, being 18, being 21, that doesn't make you a man. Your conduct makes you a man, and it's time for me to change. So I made a pledge to myself that I'd never get in trouble again, and I went from having 44 major infractions to never getting in trouble again over the next 15 years that I was incarcerated. So in 2015, I was excited about the new juvenile parole process. Senator O'Neill came to see me in prison, and she told me that I far exceeded anything they ever hoped for when they passed the bill. So when I was thinking, all right, do I qualify? I think I do, right? But when I went in and you're not entitled to a lawyer. So if you don't have a lawyer and you can't afford a lawyer, then you have to go in there by yourself. And I went in there by myself, but I was still confident, being that there was a presumption of release, and being that I hadn't been in trouble for over a decade, and being that I had been a role model, and being that I had taught and mentored literally over 2,000 people in prison. And I was hopeful that, I'd be released, being that the only reason that they could deny you is if you're more likely than not to be a criminal if you're released. And I felt like I had demonstrated the fact that I'm not a criminal at all. So I went in and they denied me, and they said that I could petition for release in another year, which means that I could have a hearing in 3 years, because even after you petition, you have to wait an additional year. So it meant that I wouldn't have a hearing for 3 years. And I still went in with confidence, and I got denied again. I was done. I was like, I'm done. I'm not ever petitioning again. I had zero faith. I had zero confidence. It puts major stress on your family as well for being denied. So I was like, I'm not putting my family through it. I'm not putting myself through it. I'm done. But Jennifer Smith of the Seattle Clemency Project said, let us get you an attorney. Let's try to make a difference, and just give it a chance. And I was like, I'm done. I'm not doing it. I'm not filing. She said, well, just let us get you an attorney. I said, all right. And then she got Kevin Krantz, and he was amazing. We're actually friends to this day. The support that my attorney provided me throughout the process was a moral support, a legal support, a professional support, because he was good at what he did, right? But also just being able to listen to me and take my input, and also value me as a human being and as a person, and not just say, I'm the attorney, I got everything. I believe that my attorney and his approach made a tremendous difference for the board. I think it made all the difference. I knew he cared. I knew the Seattle Clemency Project cared. I knew that they were invested in justice. And I also saw how many changes that came to the criminal justice system subtly. I knew that people were listening when the Seattle Clemency Project were involved, and it gave me enough faith and confidence to at least give it a try. My hearing was in May of 2019. It seemed like an eternity, but in June, I had found out that I was found releasable, and then I had to do 35 days, and I was released on September 4th of 2019. I believe it's important for people to have advocates and to know they have advocates outside of prison, because I know for myself, having a 77-year prison sentence without parole, even when they did have a parole process, there wasn't anybody coming in and trying to advocate for me. So when I knew that somebody was trying to advocate for me, that gave me the hope. People should support the Seattle Clemency Project, because it not only addresses these individual human lives, so let's not forget the fact that they're human lives that are being affected and impacted, right? But it addresses things on a criminal justice level overall, because the more these stories are being brought out, or that are currently being hidden inside a prison, the more people realize that the stuff that the community's been sold aren't true. And the sooner we can see that, the sooner we can make systemic changes, the sooner we can get a lot more bigger changes made.